Today's 1062nd day that I'm here to lessons and learn. I'm learning. I hope this support your dreams, your goals, allow you to become the person that you want to become. Today, I speak about grief again because grief is every single person will be related to grief at some point. And that means that we're able to develop the skills. And of course, you understand that grief is something that you're not able to prepare. You're not able to really understand. You're not able to develop the skills because you don't understand what it means until you really experience that. But at the same time, when you're really finally experiencing it, being able to understand that and being able to work through it much, much faster and better, of course, it helps and overall. So today I'm gonna really get deep down and understand, okay, what really griefs are and what are the things that we need to understand about grief. So number one, we need to understand that the grief is something that we need to understand about identity level. When we have a loss, it might be that our identity will shift as well. And what do I mean by that? A lot of times we have based our identity based on the role. So that means that it's what roles people could have. It could be have a husband role, it could be a father, it could be a son, it could be business owner. There's a lot of role that we have and live by, and those there's values and beliefs, and all those are based on our roles. So a brother or sister is a role. So if you want to be the best brother, you want to be a best sister, you want to be the best father, so that means that you have that role. But if you lose a son, you lose a daughter, you lose a brother, that means that you might be that you will lose the whole role because of that. Because it might be that you don't have a brother, you don't have a sister, you don't have kids anymore. So you're not able to be the best father, you're not able to be the best brother. So you lose the whole role because of that. And of course, that could rock your foundation. For example, me, I one of my biggest goals in life was the best brother of all, and I did all my best. And it's interesting because this is a big rock in my garden. I worked so hard to be the best brother. I worked so hard on pursuing my goals and on becoming the best version of me. And by doing that, I was not the best brother. I didn't spend as much time as I could. I didn't communicate as much as I could. I didn't show how much I care about my brother. And again, I wanted to do my best. I worked so hard to improve myself that I could be the best brother. This is one of my biggest dreams was. But I lost my brother. Now I'm not able to be the best brother. Now I'm able to be the best brother in a different sense because every single person we have brothers and sisters. But I'm able to be the best person, but not for my brother. So that means that there's a of course foundation. That's why it struck my foundation understanding. So my role was being the best brother, but I don't have a brother anymore. So how is supposed to adjust that? So then the whole section of my life is wiped off. And again, this is touching the identity. Second thing is that the search of meaning. The search of meaning. When you lose something, of course, there will be a search of meaning. That means that you understand that there is fragility of life. A lot of times we believe that in life ourselves that we have a lot of time. Now, this is a very interesting topic. In a sense, there is a lot of time. In a sense, there is just a little time. There's a lot of time in the sense that when you're really doing the right things, there's a lot of time to make things happen. But at the same time, if you do not do things, that means there's no enough time. There's no enough time to really do nothing and expect that, oh, we have enough time. No, we never have enough time. If there is something right to do, the right things need to do right now. If you made a mistake, that's okay. You do it now. But the right thing, we don't have time to wait until the right time will. No, we need to do it now. And that's the meaning. Meaning being able to understand, okay, what's the meaning of life? If life is so fragile, what's the meaning of it? And the meaning is to do the right thing now. And that's the thing that is true meaning of life is to do the purpose, what you really called. Really go after that meaning right now. That's the true meaning. Really do something that you really enjoy and love and really pursue that calling without really being afraid to be rejected, disappoint yourself. I think that's the pill of regret is the biggest pill of all. because there's probably you've heard, if you have in this in self-development, you have heard there's two pills. You potentially can drink a pill of discipline or a pill of regret. And pill of regret is much, 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 much harder to swallow because it's much, much bigger. Number three is time becomes distorted. Distorted. That means that when you're going through grief, a lot of times the time it seems different. It's different because a lot of times people believe that you're supposed to have certain time to grieve. But again, every single person has different timelines. And the time flies and it seems that it just goes 1 month, 2 months. It seems like years go by. I think that it's interesting perspective to understand that every single person's time is different. Now we have objective and subjective. So there's objective time is 24 hours, but subjective is like how those 24 hours feels for you specifically. And of course, when a lot of times when we are very, very happy, it goes very, very fast. When we are unhappy, when grieving, that could be very, very slow. So even the same month could seem like years go by and nothing changed, or maybe changed. So a lot of times you're grieving that it might be that you start to feel that there's time something flies very barely. And of course, when you go back to routine and actually do the thing that you love, at that moment, of course, could be back into normal. Number four is the unresolvable nature of grief. Unresolvable nature of grief. That's an interesting thing. Why is unresolvable? Grief, what is? Grief is love. It means you have a massive love. And now the person that you have a massive love for died. So it means that love doesn't disappear. You still love that person. And that means because of there is a love, that means that you still have the grief. And that means that you will love that person for the rest of your life. And grief will be here for the rest of life. But now what you're able to do, you integrate that grief. And the grief disappears because you're able to really integrate that love into your life and understand that we will love that person for the rest of life, but be able to live our lives with that grief. Because I learned that as well. And my friend said that I will give you a secret. After 7 years, you will still feel very similar. You will not feel that you let it go because you'll never let it go. You just start to learn to live with it. It's a big thing. Because you're not resolved because love never disappears. Number five, grief can feel like madness. Like madness. I think that we need to, sometimes grief is something that we want to hold on to. Because grief is only one connection that left with that person. Because grief is only one connection that you have with that person. Because sometimes we don't want to move on because it seems like we move on, we forgetting the person. We leaving that behind. That's one of the most important person we leave behind. But no, like if you grief is it's great to really have grief, to understand, to integrate that thought, that feeling into our lives. Because again, grief could potentially make us better, stronger. Because when you really reconsider, reflect, and understand the meaning of life, that stronger meaning of life allows to make better decisions. And of course, integration of that grief and of that madness is beneficial in our lives. Number six is grief is a form of connection. And I mentioned grief is a form of connection. So when you're grieving, you have a connection with the person that you lost. Because you remember the good things, you remember bad things, you remember a lot of things. So there's a lot of comforting feelings, a lot of pain. There's a lot of things that's coming, but you have a connection with the lost person. So grief is a form of connection. Number seven is grief is a dialogue between life and death. Such interesting saying. Grief is a dialogue between life and death. That means that we still alive, but the person that you're grieving is already dead. At that moment, you understand that you will not have a ability to say the thing that you want to say, that you love to say. But at the same time, be able to really say that again. And again, this is every single person have different kind of beliefs. For me, I truly believe that I will be able to speak with my brother in heaven. I will be able to speak with him and share all my thoughts. So that means that it's for next 30, 40, 50, 60 years that I'm on earth, I want to live a life that my brother would be proud of me. Just like I did those things. I made this decision because of you. This what you taught me, and this is what they did with this. So when I will speak with him in next world, next time, I want to really make sure that he is proud of me. I think that this is what kind of mindset we need to have. That kind of mindset that I will have a chance to speak and see that person again. And what I would love to really say, what I would love to show, how I would love to represent myself at that moment. Number 8 is healing isn't about forgetting, it's about transformation. And this is again, I always used to think that grieving is about really forgetting, letting go. But truly, grieving, what I learned so far is that grieving is all about acceptance. It took me a while. Probably 4 months until I finally was able to say that I accept it. I accept it because I didn't want to. I really thought that I will come back to my city. I will see my brother again. I really thought it. I really believed it. It took me 4 months until I finally accepted I will not be able to go. I will not be able to go and see my brother again. It took me a while. Maybe some people are faster. For me, it took 4 months. And I think that every single person have 4 months, a year. It doesn't matter how long. Because I was working, I understood that not being able to accept is not emotional healing. And when you really want to go after big things and you really want to represent your brother, well, I think that I need to heal emotionally. And accepting that, it was one of the steps. And again, this was not about forgetting. It was about transforming. And transforming is all about accepting. So awareness and accepting. Because if you don't accept where you are right now, you're not able to move forward. So acceptance was one thing that really I need to work on because it took me for a long time to be able to do that. And I still was transforming. Number 9 is the importance of being witness. So that means that we need to be witness of ourselves. So it means being able to see, acknowledge of the present moment. How do I feel right now? Witness, because of course we able to be in the past, we able to be in the future. Again, it is like everything in life. I think that so many people are in the past. Okay, this is what happened in the past. This is what was. We can look in the future, but this is I will not be able to achieve that future. But what's happening right now? And we need to be witness ourselves to say, okay, this is where I am right now, and I really want to really move forward. And sometimes really being able just to be fully present, I think, and be mindful, I think that's the biggest step in grieving. And last one thing that I want to mention is that grief is an act of love. And I mentioned this as well, that the biggest thing about grief is just showing that you really cared. We never grieve about people that you don't care about. So that means that grief is showing love. So the person who is up and looking into us, maybe they don't want us to grieve, but they know that because we're grieving, they know that we love them, we care about them. And that's a show act of love. Because we have those deep feelings that is showing up. And I think that is very, very important to understand that our grief is act of love, show of our care, a show that we really wanted to really make a better life for them, for ourselves, just to really show that they are important. They are important, and they will be important all the time. They was important, they are important, and they will be important. I think that this is a key to grief, to understand that nothing will change regarding a relationship with you and with me and my brother, or with you and your in-laws. Nothing will change. The only thing will change is that we will learn how to really live with it, and that's it. And I think that the grief is something that I will need to really to discuss in the future as well, when I really go through a little bit longer understanding how to really live with it and how to really help that grief to make me better, to transform me. And this is just a beginning, because I have really went through 4 months of grieving, and I think that that's finally able to really speak about it because I finally was able to accept it. And as I said, acceptance is one of the first steps to really moving forward. So I hope you just win and see you tomorrow.